Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so this is one of those, just kind of, I think it's obvious for people who actually play the game. You guys know this already. Before a lot of people who don't necessarily play NBA 2K, they're looking at the NBA rankings of these players, their ratings, and they're looking at them as they come out, and they're like, oh my God, Russell Westbrook's rated 1 degree less than Patrick Beverly, and they're looking at Kevin Durant's reacting to his as well. I'm a 96, so he thinks it's a joke. He should be a 99. The thing about these ratings is a lot of times I've learned over the years from playing the game so damn much, just years and years and years, hours and hours and hours. I have a lot of 2K hours put in. I'm kind of a past obsessive player, and art has kind of replaced all of that video game stuff. So yeah, because of that, I understand that these rankings fluctuate as much as by the day. Like, they can literally change player rankings every couple hours if they truly want to. So no one's ranking is set in stone. I think everybody knows that to a degree, but I think they still hang their hats on those rankings as they're released because, it kind of speaks to how the players being evaluated to start the season and how they were perceived to have played their last season and stuff like that. And, look, 2K rankings are just some guys who come together, take their analytics, and put together the best version of what they think is fair. But what you also have to understand about these games is, because they have to evaluate the benches and still evaluate the team overall a certain way, if they perceive a team to be very good, but the bench is very bad, sometimes they'll have to soup up the best players or bring down the value of the best players accordingly to make the team make sense, so that you don't have imbalance in the overall production of the team by providing the accuracy of the production of each player. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be a little off, because there are a lot of things that contribute to the success of basketball that doesn't show up in the stats, that isn't probably going to be simulated properly in the game. So in order to make it closer to how it's supposed to be in terms of standings or what they project the power rankings to be, they have to adjust players sometimes in imbalanced ways in order to make that make sense. So it's imperfect science is what I've come to understand. And it constantly fluctuates, so it's nothing to hang your, to get upset at or hang your hat on. As players continue to play better, they fluctuate those rankings. So, it is what it is. I think KD has a legitimate gripe. He shouldn't feel like he's fallen off from a 99 to a 96, but I think what he has to probably look at is the defensive aspect of what it is they're trying to assess, and the fact that his team did get swept in the first round of the playoffs. So that is something that they're probably working into how they're addressing his ranking. And so this is one of those situations where I think 2K's rankings, they probably did the best they could, but to be honest with you, it's difficult to assess these teams on any level because they were incomplete for the duration of the time that we've been, trying to, for the summer. We've been waiting for certain deals to get done to make some of these teams make sense, and they don't. So you have to imagine that it's going to be some type of reaction to that from these 2K rankings as well, to where it's going to be some imbalance off of the sheer understanding that there is no understanding basically in regards to these teams. A lot of them, that is, in Brooklyn is one of those teams, unfortunately. So the Lakers is another. So those are the teams that have the most controversy in those situations, and I think the explanation that I gave is probably going to help some folks, because it's not as simple as to say that Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly is better than Westbrook or whatever. It's not as simple as to say that. It's to say Patrick Beverly had an amazing season last year where he was at, and Russell Westbrook's value went down dramatically where he was. So when those two players come together, you're going to have this situation. And I think look, do I think that that's unfair in my mind? No, not based on what I just saw. No, Patrick Beverly was balling last year, and for what he was doing, he made an impact that was greater than Russell Westbrook's impact last year, for what it's worth. That's not up for debate, I don't imagine. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. So that's just, in my mind, completely just. I just think it's unfortunate that they're both on the same team, to where you have to see how the optics of it. And it's just a bad look, but should Patrick Beverly be rated 1 slot higher than Russell Westbrook in my mind? Probably 2. To be honest. So, I don't know. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I hope Whatever interactions those two have had have been real good. I mean, in terms of just understanding they're on the same team for a little while. I don't think it's not gonna be permanent. They're both expiring contracts, but I'd imagine the Lakers are trying to get rid of Russell Westbrook, and I hope the Lakers have the intent of re-signing Patrick Beverley. And that's another thing. I don't want the Lakers to acquire any expiring contracts if we're not planning on re-signing those guys, because the point of it, the best way to manage expiring contracts is to make sure they don't walk. So if you're acquiring one, you better have the intent of trading at the deadline. You pick it up Bogdanovich, he's going to be gone at the deadline if we're managing it properly, for the record. And that's assuming that would actually be possible, because I don't know that you would be able to trade him in that amount of time since acquiring him. So that is a big part of this. If you have no intention of re-signing Bogdanovich, you have no business, Lakers, acquiring his expiring contract. And truth be told, the same should go in regards to Kyrie Irving. To be honest, the same should apply to Kai. We should at least have intentions of re-signing every expiring contract we acquire at this time. Or otherwise, we're just bringing them in as pieces that are not going to actually be a part of our playoff situation. So that is something to really consider. I think it's most important that the Lakers have re-signing Patrick Beverley in mind. Like, please don't tell me we just misevaluated Stanley Johnson and THT's trade value for a piece that we can't even have in the playoffs because you are responsible for trading him because of the fact that you don't plan to re-sign him. Like, don't tell me we're not going to have Patrick Beverley in the playoffs. I ain't trying to hear that. Please don't tell me that. So I'm assuming us acquiring Pat means that we have intentions of giving the man some money next season. Hopefully we can work out a negotiation properly. That obviously plays into how that ultimately gets executed. If the man wants $40 million a year, I'm not going to be mad at the Lakers for not giving him $40 million a year. But the plan should be to re-sign him. Okay? And any other expiring contract, that should be the vision. Otherwise, you're signing up to mismanage an expiring contract. So, let's make that very clear. Very clear. It's exactly what I've been getting on Brooklyn about in regards to trading Kyrie Irving. Like, y'all thinking about bringing him in for the full season and you're going to let $36 million walk when you still got KD on tap for 3 years? And you can get nothing back for Kai? Nothing back for his boy? Yeah, let's see how that goes. You better pay that man his money or send him to LA. Anyway, that's what I got to say. That is exactly what I have to say. I keep making the same point. It always comes back around to that because that is the focus of completing my basketball team, and I'm a Laker diehard, so they don't leave my mind, as you know. But I did want to come here and just speak on the 2K rankings and just let you guys know that I don't see nothing really to be too concerned with, because those same rankings are going to be very different a week and a half into the season. Trust me, they're not going to stay that way. So that's pretty much it, man. That is it. BDF44. Thank you all for watching.